Yeah, I hear you. Okay, personally, you sound
Well,
tasty.
I think Bog's speechless. That's what that is. That's for all you folks
Well,
at home. In fact, things have gone so serious. Bog's even taken off the dinosaur costume. I mean, that's when we know. That's when we know into real serious business now.
All right, I think I'm working now. Check, you guys. Hopefully you guys at home can hear me. I don't know. Maybe you can. Maybe you can't. Maybe that's for the best. I'm out of the dinosaur costume because the dinosaur costume was just was a little too sweaty. I feel like I need to take a shower after that thing. And I was having such a hard time breathing in that thing because I just opened it up and it was like all that cheap plastic air. I'm like, just sucking it down. But I'm glad to be out of it. And unfortunately, it looks like TSM was the ones sucking on air after they struggled to overcome their opponent, Renegades, picking up a big surprise win in that first map of the series. I'm a little bit shocked. I would not have anticipated that Renegades would win the map, and I would not have anticipated that they would have done so easily. Avril, was that a case of TSM just kind of missing their mark on one side and getting too far behind, or did Renegades just really show up?
So two things here. One is I definitely felt like Renegades had an outside chance. Yeah, they beat TSM before on this map, but it's definitely possible. I think the biggest surprise for me, Bok, is the fact that they did so in such a commanding fashion, right? That's the thing here. 13-6. The last time they played was 13-10. To speak about TSM as well, yeah, I don't know. Like it maybe they were like not on the same page as much as usual. Wardell was missing a lot of shots. Very uncharacteristic to see Wardell at the bottom of the scoreboard. I mean, you can see the KD here. You can see where the performance is. That's not the Wardell that usually shows up. So a little bit surprised. Drone played decently. Cutlet had a really good play over towards A that we saw when he's trying to hold off versus 3 people. There were definitely rounds there that could have maybe still come through for TSM in terms of a couple of 1v1s being lost, a couple of really clutch situations that ended up going the way of Renegades. That last run as well stands out where it ends up being a 2v4 that Renegades win off the back of Winsome finding a triple. Finds, I believe it was, Cutler over towards mid. No, it's Hayes towards mid, then drops the paint shells that kills 2 and gives themselves a 2v1. Like, if that's the kind of play that gets Renegades this win and that unfortunately hands TSM a loss.
There's two things that pop up in my mind in the first place. The first was the fact that Wardell did not have a great game, but he had the operator, 5 different rounds, 0 total kills on that last game with the operator. On the other side, and maybe I should be apologizing here because Renegades just played much more polished than we've seen them play in about the last month and a half to 2 months. Even during their own invitational, they did not play nearly this well on split. So the fact that they were able to clean things up, they were able to take sites and then have their post plant set up where it wasn't just one-dimensional, where they started to flex players over the middle of the map. They were very concentrated on their defense about how they were going to retake, making sure that there were no exits for TSM, like things we brought up during the moments as they were happening live. Those are all incredible things for Renegades. So as much as you want to sit here and point a finger at somebody or maybe multiple players on TSM, I think collectively we need to be more impressed with what Renegades just did in that last match.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Renegades does end up making themselves known a little bit more as a team. I feel like we came into this series and we probably underestimated Renegades, but to a certain extent, that was justifiable. We haven't really seen a whole lot of success for this team, kind of like some of the other teams that we've seen in the tournament. Honestly, they remind me a lot of Complexity. Complexity, who exited the group as their #1 seed. That was a surprise. Not many people saw that coming, and I don't think that many people would predict that Renegades would potentially be in a similar position. And, they now have TSM up against the ropes, and they've got that 1-0 lead moving into this next map. We'll pull up the maps in just a second so you can see what maps are going to be coming up. But, does Renegades have the potential for a 2-0 here shift? Like, is that realistic? Or should we see TSM bounce back in form? Because like we said, in the past at times, we've seen them come into a series, and they kind of come in a little bit lighthearted and foolish, and it gets, it gets them into some hot water, gets them into trouble, and then they usually respond in the next map and the map that follows. So is this going to be a potential 3rd map series, or do you think Renegades can realistically take this 2-0 shift?
There is potential here that Renegades could 2-0. The only reason why I say that is because the last time they played, it wasn't just that it was 11-13, a win for TSM then, but both teams found a lot of success on offense. 7 rounds for Renegades on offense, 8 rounds on offense for TSM. Starting things off offensively, This time around, it's going to be TSM. So if TSM does not have a great bounce back immediately on their attacking half, yeah, there's potential there. I would still swing it partially in favor of TSM because, like we mentioned also before that, TSM so far in the First Strike series have been perfect. A 7-0 so far on Haven in the First Strike series thus far.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest as well. This is the best that we've ever seen Renegades play. I'm man enough to admit that I've slept on them as well. You know, based on their performance yesterday, Renegades did not look this good. I mean, if you turned off the opponent's nameplates, I mean, this just looks like very different teams playing currently. Renegades, I did not expect them to come in this hot, and do they have a chance? I believe they definitely have a chance. They have a lot more of a chance than I gave them credit for. And now walking into this one, I'm excited to see if they can actually do it because TSM looked a little bit shaky. I'm sure TSM can bounce back. I'm sure TSM are good enough to do that. But the confidence levels, as I said before we came into break, was super high for Renegades.
I'll say this. A lot of times we get accused sometimes as casters of being biased towards TSM because of all the accomplishments. It's hard not to speak so highly of them. And I do have a bit of a bias as I know some of the players on the team from my time in CS. But I also know a player by the name of Bergie, casting him in CS since he went by the alias of Thugwaffle. And does Thugwaffle and company have an opportunity here that they haven't had in the past as Renegades finds themselves up 1-0 over TSM with a chance to advance tomorrow with a win here on Haven? Take it away.
I just kind of want to know more about why he's not still going as Thugwaffle. That's probably one of the more incredible usernames I think I've ever heard. We mentioned starting things off here for Haven. We're going to be getting Renegades on the defense first. TSM need to have a solid start to their offense. Maybe even behind that, it might just come down to the fact of can Wardell, when he gets an operator in his hand, which you expect him to have, can he start to get some participation going? Because you have to do better than 0 total kills like you had from Split.
Well, here we go. I mean, Renegade's just walking straight down mid. Speaking of Bergie, by the way, I'm sure we'll see him a little bit later on, but he's been playing like a bit of a thug versus TSM in this series. Nice 1-0 start in terms of the kills. Do want to talk about the compositions a little bit here as well. Obviously not going to be seeing Killjoy on Haven. Most teams don't play it here. Winsome going over towards the Reyna. Drone over towards the Phoenix as well. And the typical Jet still coming on through. Drone straight over towards A. Let's see if we can get some damage done.
There's a lot of potential for Renegades to have this retake quickly. You've got the Reyna of Winsome already making their way on. Randy will find one, but Retro does also fall. Big 1v1 here between Drone and Winsome, and now the overheal is in place. Winsome back to 150 HP. Shock Dart gonna tag up Wardell heavily. He's gonna have to back up. And the spike for the moment is just gonna have to be left on the EA
30
site.
seconds left.
Half HP for Wardell.
On the flank. He's gonna try to make his way in. Beautiful read for Renegades. Wardell with the frenzy for a first, but is he really gonna be up for a 1v3 with just 24 health? You really can't think so, and Wardell will back
10
away and
seconds left.
I guess just concede this round with probably not much extra action happening.
No, not really. I mean, there is a bit of a call here where personally I think for a Jet player, you kind of want to just get this extra ult point, and that would be to just kind of dive in, hope for a kill. If you die, you also get an extra ult point, losing the frenzy inconsequential. You want to try and get this Blade Soul up nice and early, so you can utilize that one during like a possible, you know, eco or just a round where you want to save a bit more money. And TSM relying on the potential pinch coming through from the last remaining 2 players, but unfortunately it just ends up being Wardell alive. The sole surviving member there, you can see for 0 deaths. Renegades once again will pick up the early pistol on that opening half, and now looking towards the anti-eco. Nothing extreme coming through from the TSM side of things, unless Sub Rosa picks up something with the Sheriff. Should just be the game as usual for Renegades, and a 2-0 to follow.
At TSM, this is a round that you're likely not going to expect to win, but just again, I want to just hammer this 1 point home, the fact that the last time these 2 teams played, it was a 2-round differential. Both teams found most of their success offensively, so if Renegades, again, can get things going defensively here, they put themselves in a great spot to potentially find themselves a 2-0. Bergie, the Thugwaffle, he's going to find himself one. They're actually going to be able to read a second coming through. He's got help from Retro, who will double up as well, and TSM, they will exit over to the middle of the map over towards C, but CP2 is here. He's actually walked right by Sabrosa, so no one's going to expect CP2 to be here. Sabrosa's got his back turned to him. Neither player will expect each other to be literally touching butts there for a moment, but Retro will find the 3rd kill and the defuse with it.
Reminds me of that situation between Drone and Winsome over towards Split Screens just a map ago. Yeah, both players that end up getting a kill here. Both players end up being unknown on site. Retro should go for this defuse, just looking for maybe possible pistol upgrades. Obviously, there was a Sheriff on the ground from Sub Rosa's body. Retro the early Blazestorm available, and this would be a good round for him to use as well. Retro probably looking to drop the Spectre over towards a teammate, pop up with the Blazestorm, and contest the rifles that way.
For Renegades, there will have to be a couple of purchases to come through. It just comes down to what are you going to try to afford? Do you want to try to go for the greedy AR play just to try to match up against TSM, who will have 5 rifles and full armor with that? Do you try to maybe save and maybe just make this round scrappy? It looks like the latter more than the former, as Renegades will just go to a couple of Sheriff upgrades with the 3 Spectres they hold on to from the previous round.
Straight up aggression coming through for TSM over towards C-Long as well. It's a 1-for-1 trade nice and early. Burger's SMG does secure 1, so as the team that does have rifles coming into this one, TSM don't want to be dropping that gun over. It won't be able to be retrieved unless TSM fall off from C completely and go back towards more of a B or an A. Massive stack coming out through from Renegade. Sabrosa through the garage will find another, and this is going to be C opened up. Now Sabrosa with 3, and the round is most likely over. Randy on Justice Sheriff is unlikely to hold on.
Just comes down to can he find some exit kills at this point. He might not even get the opportunity for that, as he's got Sabrosa with the hot hand near him. And he will get a read also with that onto Drone, but it will be Sabrosa for 4. Beautiful headshots all the way through. I think all 4 of them land for headshot confirmation, so TSM, very clean offensive round for them. The only thing that you could really criticize is the fact that they didn't get the spike down there near the end, but it's okay as they are able to get themselves going. But Renegades, again, as you mentioned, off of a little bit of a light buy situation from the previous round, will come in around 4 with even gun round for both squads.
Renegades just completely did not detect Sabrosa coming through garage, so the 4 kills will allow Sabrosa to now have from the shadows. He started 3 out of 7, by the way, so exactly 4 kills needed for this ultimate. Retro on an Odin, which is going to be an interesting buy. He's not really close to the Sober player CP2, so we'll be looking for something different rather than via the recon bolt, which won't come this round anymore. Drone has taken down CP2 over towards A.
Oh, but Winsome, very aggressive through C Garage, was just looking for someone to rotate back to the middle of the map, and he gets gifted an opportunity, and with that, a kill. So now 4v4 we go. You felt great about this opening for TSM initially, but Renegades now evening up the odds and the numbers will have much more of a chance here, realistically, to try to fight this gun round back. Still plenty of time to work with, and it looks like TSM, with the 60 seconds that are remaining in the bank, will make their play over to C long, and the only player defensively that's in the mix would be Retro, with some consideration for Winsome, who's in the garage.
Retro could get a really nice mow down here. Depending on how many TSM members line up, he'll get some information that at least one is there. Needs to start thinking about where the backup's coming in from. Can't even scope in properly. Drone will get that kill. Still has a flash available, 1 away from the right at back also. As Renegades look for the retake with just 3 alive, they have potentially a double entry here between garage and also their own spawn.
The problem here, Avril, is that you just don't have the tools to get in. So unless you can find a pick, this is going to be a very hard-pressed retake, but they're going to give it a try.
Well,
there may have been some consideration for a save, but all 4 members of TSM are going to play long. Aldron's going to come through. Hot hands deep behind that will also be placed right on top where the spike is. That's early utility down. Recon Bolt going to follow behind this. Winsome's going to have to find a way to confirm a kill or 2. Flash will come through off the curveball. And it looks like Renegades will realize this is not a favorable spot. We do have to save these last 3 rifles.
And that's the thing as well for Renegades is, yeah, they don't have a lot of time left to play. They have very little utility. You noticed that as well. They had 2 flashes available, 1 Paranoia, 1 Lair. Both were used just to get on to C. No one was on C. If they got a kill there, if TSM still had members on site, that would have been a really good turnout for the Renegades on that particular retake. But all the remaining members of TSM still over towards long. No real good utility left for Renegades to challenge that one. And they're going to walk away with the rifles. Now Retro will finally be moving, I think, towards the Blazestorm. This will be a really good round for that one. He's only got a Sheriff in play. And for the rest of TSM, looking pretty at the moment in terms of their economy. Still have From the Shadows and 5 rifles.
This is still a doable round, though, for Renegades. Again, you mentioned the Bladestorm, the 3 rifles, and CP2 will actually pick up a Bucky. He's going to use that just to hold on to the front side of B. So TSM still has to be pretty cautious, even though they're going to be feeling a natural advantage coming into our 5th round. Pretty big swing round here as well. If TSM can take out Renegades, they will be pretty hard-pressed to bring full rifles to the round coming up after this. And Winsome is going to catch Hayes again aggressively, just pushing through. Hayes caught in his spy cam, no problem. CP2 might be challenged here in the middle. There's the Bladestorm finally coming out for Renegades over towards C long, but a 5v4, and TSM are not committing with this spike as they're holding it still back mid-map.
And here we go. The smoke actually helps out CP2 quite a lot. He might walk into it, but straight into Wardell, who challenged the smoke directly. CP2 maybe losing a bit of patience there. In any case, I mean, possibly unlucky as well. Speaking of unlucky, Retro, no idea that Subrosa's on the other side of the smoke. Will dissipate. Another kill being brought through. So TSM losing one early, but they get two back.
Empress?
Speaking of two back, Winsome and Bergie. Empress is available. Won't need to be popped here as Subrosa wants to exit this situation.
Sabrosa's going to try to play for the clutch up from B window. You see his teammates pinging for the spike, but it's being diffused, and no shots will connect. Renegades pull it back on the backhand of Winsome and Bergie. Avro, we casted these guys yesterday, and we said that Winsome and Bergie have been some of the more prevalent fraggers for this squad in the open qualifier, in the opening during the Slimy Boogerman matchup. That was way too close, I think, for comfort for Renegades. But when Winsome and Bergie are making plays like that, yes, they can beat absolutely anybody.
Especially when Winsome showing up today as well. You saw on the previous map, Winsome dropped so many kills, did so well on that race, closed up a 2v4 on the final round, and now coming through on the Reyna. This would be a great round for the Empress as well. It's one that TSM really want to win. They have a lot to work with here in terms of TSM on the rifle, so this is one you want to shut down if you are Renegades via the Empress. Wardell hasn't operated again. I say again, this will be the first one of this half, but again, considering the series overall, and we haven't seen that much success from Wardell on the operator to date, which is a little bit weird. Now the opportunity to turn that around.
Needs to turn it around. Drone's going to open things up with an Owl drone to get over towards A. Hot hands up top just to deny any information or positions over towards Heaven, but he's going to see nothing with that run it back, which is going to be interesting because TSM will have to consider the potential of a flank coming from behind. The spike has not been committed yet. Hayes is going to throw this into a corner, and Renegades who avoided getting information given onto them will have a chance to potentially overwhelm just by hitting from the front.
Well, it's going to have to be the 5-man retake from Renegades here, despite Drone not really getting too much out of the run it back in terms of kills. He's cleared the site, and sometimes that's the most important thing. Speaking of clear, the Empress has gone straight away. Hayes connecting that headshot, and this is going to be a very clean post point from TSM. They'll be able to get all the kills required. Sabrosa for another 3, and Renegades just the 1 kill today. And, you know, like I mentioned there, TSM get the quick plant there. A is completely open, completely free, and that just allows them to set up a really nice post plant.
Talk about the difference, though. If Winsome gets that W on the win versus Hayes, he can immediately dismiss as Empress. He can read what's happening around the site, and Renegades could then actually concentrate how they're going to hit this retake. But the fact that the Empress is denied off the initial gunfight is incredible for TSM. We talked about the fact that they had 3 members that were stacked watching the long flank. Once they realized the Empress and the rest of Renegades were coming from the front, they're going to be a little bit late to hold off that retake from Renegades. But Hayes with the W on that 1v1 stops the Empress from coming through, and Winsome going to get aggressive again with Bergie, but both will be taken down, and these are favorable trades for TSM in a 3v2 situation for the rest of the round.
Winsome decides not to dismiss either. I don't know if the dismiss would have gotten him away necessarily, but in either case, to make a couple of trades happen, Renegades didn't have much to work with this round. 2 rifles, I believe, brought in. 3 pistols, including 2 sheriffs, one of which now is not going to even be on CB2, actually. He's the ghost. He's the classic player, and not much to do here except to look for a potential gun on the floor, maybe go for a save. I mean, the 1v3 could be done, but would have to really pull out a miracle.
And CP2 is going to guess over towards A. He'll quickly realize
this is
not where the play. He's going to absolutely go shopping for weapons. Finds himself the Phantom, and that will be good. He'll just hold this corner and let the next 45 seconds just kind of fade away. So as far as TSM is concerned here, again, not trying to spit one side of the story, but you need to have a successful offense. And after losing the pistol and the following, things are looking good for Renegades, but this has been better for TSM overall. The one thing we're still missing is Wardell's pressure with the operator. Sure, he had a kill the previous round here with the aggressive play for Renegades over towards A long, but you feel like they're probably not going to give him that opportunity anymore.
I think the most important round was the one we saw a couple of rounds ago where the Empress was popped and Winsome got popped straight after that as well. From that point onwards, we look at this particular round, it's Renegades making a bit of a gamble, getting quite aggressive over towards A. They know their equipment value isn't great. They have a half by 2 rifles, one of which will be recovered by CP2 here. This is the round now that TSM need to be able to secure. If they want to win this half, if they are going to get this offensive side, and we've talked about the fact that both teams have favored the attacking side for this map. From here on out, that's when TSM have to be able to pull through. They have a lot of guns in play. They have ultimates as well. Sabrosa nearly on for another from the shadows. for Renegades as well, I mean, the money situation is still not looking good. Retro on 0. He doesn't have a Blade Storm yet. We'll have to start popping off to find that one. So if we go into another eco, it just doesn't feel good for Renegades, and that is when TSM will get really far ahead.
Yeah, it feels like almost a must-win round here for Renegades if they want to try to find a way to win this half. This is also the first round that will have Hunter's Furies available for both of our squads, so we'll see how those will be potentially utilized for both Cutler and CP2. Both are very well apt at trying to open up sites with those Hunter's Furies. Retro, he's going to be stuck inside a dark cover. Wardell in the back will take care of Randy. But still, no one has scouted out Retro. He finds one, he gets a second, and immediately tailwinds away. The 2 kills, very valuable. Stalls the spike plant for now, and keep your eye on the long flank. It was Winsome who was trying to make a cheeky play, but Hazed finds the kill. Now CP2 trying to delay the plant for as long as possible. Actually connects onto Cutler for the kill, and Renegades will have a 3v2. Still, no spike been planted.
And there you go, Renegades just need to pop in, get a couple of kills, dash away, get a kill via the Hunter's Fury as well, stopping the plant. The worst part about that for TSM is they lose their own Hunter's Fury for the post plant. It will now be 1 versus 2. An opportunity here for both sides. Wardell, this is his time, this is his moment, and Wardell, there it is, he doesn't miss.
Well, he does sometimes, but not this time.
Yeah, not that time. Yeah,
not that time.
Trust me. Trust me, when he does miss, I'll say that too, but this time he hits.
3 kills for Wardell, and beyond that, again, you saw Bergie tossing out the Paranoia for the retake. Retro falls immediately on the attempt, which is huge for TSM to reset to a 2v2. And then, of course, to survive through the Paranoia is even better. So 5-3 we go, and Renegades will be now onto a position where they're going to light buy. It's going to be a broken buy. You're going to have the ability for CP2 to get himself full armor and a Vandal and still purchase the next round, but 3 Sheriffs and a Bulldog to match with this, not great, and beyond that, TSM are starting to really run away with their economy at the moment.
Yeah, they got 3 rounds in a row. This should be number 4 in a row as well. Renegades have not had much success on their ecos. I say that, but Retro, the second time in a row, by the way, that Retro just gets to go through Garage, get a free kill, and dash away.
This is a lot of information read as well, as Cutler is going to try to play from on top of the double stack backside site. He also sees the Owl drone, but will be shrugged off the angle, able to find one in return. Now the Paranoia is going to come through. Shock Dart will be a touch short. And for Renegades, again, you're looking for a long flank play from Randy Savage. The Cypher in blue on your minimap trying to work his way around, will not actually go for the full flank. Maybe he's just trying to stop for any post-plant stuff to be here at C long. And as Randy will get information on Wardell, the second peek will be good. Bladestorm though for Retro. The 3v3. If you can find one more, it'd be incredible. CP2's with the final elimination. Wardell, 2v2 situation. Cloudburst down. Hunter's Fury still existing. Will allow them to be popped in here, and Cutler will find one kill. Wardell, another triple, 2 rounds in a row, and TSM will take round number 6.
And things are looking nice and alive now for TSM. Wardell, 6 kills in the last 2 rounds, 6 being the magic number here in terms of the round score. 1 more to secure the half to get the advantage here. And for Renegades, a very important gun round coming on through again. Money is looking quite low. Renegades can maybe still secure the 5-7 here. The target for what they can do on this half is start to dwindle somewhat. Can they actually win the next 3 rounds? I mean, it's definitely possible. 6-6 would be pretty nice for Renegades right now. That would be the best possible scoreline that they can get. But realistically, I think 5-7 will be on the cards. TSM looking to stretch this to 5 in a row if possible.
And Wardell now getting a hot hand. Not only is this a must-win round, but you've got a must-win round. You feel coming up beyond this because the economy is just so healthy for TSM. But for Renegades, they've got a lot of tools to potentially use from the shadows. They also have Neural Theft. Keep an eye on Retro. He's already inching up through C-Long. He's taking away so much of the map. And Winsome, who's positioned over towards A sewers, is also in a spot where you'll be able to hear a lot of sound on the rotation. The only spot they have no intel is mid-map. And with that, you essentially treat no information as good information. You don't see anything long C. You don't see anything over by A. They have to be in the middle of the map.
The only problem I have with this is what Randy's doing. You have C-Long covered, you have Garage covered, but Randy's still on C site for some reason. He needs to be the one to fall off here, or somebody from Garage. Retro is thinking about pushing up right now. The plant does come through on towards B. Should be a fairly safe post plant here as TSM get themselves out alive. 5 alive, in fact. And that is going to mean this retake is going to be super hard.
Big stack for TSM in the B window. Double hit coming out of C Garage. Sabrosa, he's equal to 1. Not going to get the second. You also have to keep in mind that you've got the potential to flank from Retro. Wardell with the operator, though, will find another kill. Winsome coming out. He finds a big pick and dismisses away. Long range shots, but can't connect it on the Cutler. TSM take away the round. Renegades, a must win, goes awry. And all of a sudden, the boys in black are up 7-3.
I gotta tell you something, planting on B and getting all 5 out alive for a post plant where you can exit the site, you have nobody on the site itself, everybody stacking around the window, around grass as well, watching double doors in garage. That's about the perfect setup that you can get for a team that plants on B. So TSM get to walk away with so much there, and I have to look back at the setup for Renegades. Again, we see Retro pushing up C long. We see Bergie holding towards garage, getting some info over there, and you have Randy's just chilling on site when both the possible positions that TSM can come through for C have been covered.
Now with the Sheriffs and Classics, Renegades are trying just to get aggressive. They're hoping for something. Maybe they can find a kill and steal a weapon away, and that might be one of them. Bergie's going to find a one-tap on the Haze. Run it back is going to be spent for drone over towards C. And this is just essentially bait, I guess? I mean, the spike is nowhere near this play. Drone will be teleported back over towards the cubby at C long. And as Sabrosa finds a kill back towards the defender spawn, he'll find a second as well. And Renegades were hoping for something aggressive down the middle of the map, but they only come away with a single kill. Although Retro will now find a second. That's the spike on the ground. Bergie will try something cheeky, but Wardell's not going to be snuck up upon, not today. And TSM will convert the expected 8th round.
Possibly a wasted ultimate there, but I guess in this situation, Renegade's got to go for as much as possible. 5-7 Dream is over. 4-8 is what they can clutch on towards now, but TSM are looking for the 9-3 finish on the first half, and I believe that would be even better than what they got last time. They got 8-4 last time, I believe, on the attack versus Renegades. Renegades got 7 on their own attack, so at this rate, to at least remain parity with their previous matchup in the open qualifier, Renegades would have to win this one. Retro has the operator now, I believe. First time for Retro on this half getting the operator. I mean, they've been pretty poor, so it's not a huge surprise. We'll have someone walking into a sightlines fairly early in the form of Cutlet.
Shots, though, will ring out for our operator players. And with that information, TSM seems like they want to maybe give up the play through C. They've already got Drone pretty far forward A long. With that, you've also got Hazed, who's bottom side sewer. And the only defensive members that are here are going to be CP2 and Winsome. They do have the potential of hitting this Empress again towards this A site, but it just comes down to knowing when to hit the triggers appropriately.
Bit of extra time and care taken into this round. No cheeky flanks coming through from Sabrosa, although he might be able to get into garage for free at this rate. Looking for another B play. Randy is going to be home this time around, so criticism has been met, and they have moved Randy off. He does see everybody. He knows the plant's coming, and this is where Renegades have to activate.
If Randy can find one, it would be incredible for Renegades defensively. You've got nothing on the backside playing through. Hayes will find first blood. Randy not able to do the job that we said he needed to. Empress now going to be popped. CP2 with the recon bolt coming through, and now the Paranoia as well being sent out, but Sabrosa finds the next kill. CP2 up top. Nothing for him as Sabrosa is able to double through. It's going to have to be down to the Empress play of Winsome. He's got to go absolutely ham-boney if he wants to try to find a way to come through, but he can't even find a first kill. A flawless round for TSM to clean up the first half 9-3.
And another successful lurk coming through from Sabrosa in the garage this time as well. Finds 3 kills overall, completely unspotted. Renegades don't clear it. I mean, you kind of do have to clear that one. You know that for a B play, you have to have the garage clear. You have to push out over towards grass as well. And so much legwork and groundwork for Renegades to do. Let's take a look at the replay provided by Go Puff here. Early rounds being found. Sabrosa doing the damage. And if I got to pick someone so far, or like at least a Haven MVP on that attack. I mean, I think Sabrosa just did so much legwork here.
Yeah.
Wardell as well started to really come into it. And such a big deal, by the way, for TSM to get the opening attacking half. I don't know how this would have gone if TSM went defense first. I'm sure the defense is fine, but this is now going to be the half that Renegades will look to bounce back in as well, because I mean they're gonna have to. It is a 3-9 start, and they have a lot of rounds to play for here to make this competitive.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right. I'm absolutely in agreement that Sabrosa was the big reason that TSM walk away, because if Sabrosa doesn't clutch up some of those rounds, there's not the opportunity for TSM to get the operator into Wardell's hands. So definitely opening things up. This time, though, Renegade's very aggressive coming out, but Hayes and Drone are able to match this with 2 kills of their own. And how about this? Renegades are not going to fully commit for a plant. They want to try to isolate these 2 members over towards sewers. This is a risky play, but they're able to find at least 1 kill. Are they going to expect the second? They sure will. Good cleanups coming through as Renegades will plant the spike and be in a 3v2 where TSM will have to find a way to retake.
And TSM needed those last 2 plays alive as well. They want to try and pinch this retake now. 2 coming through from the defender spawn. So Broza, the man of the first half, down nice and early. Cutler on 74 HP, Frenzy in hand, 1v3. I mean, the shock arrows have to really connect for damage. It will miss entirely, and this pistol likely to go the way of Renegades once again.
Cutler will find one. Opportunity maybe if you could take down the second, but that won't be allowed to happen. So let's just frame up again the macro of everything coming through as Renegades will take the pistol again. We talked about the last time these two teams played. TSM found 8 offensive rounds. Renegades found 7. They would have to find 9 offensive rounds this time just to essentially tie things up. They found the first. They've done well there. But you see that long streak that TSM was on during the end of that offensive round? You need to get that going, and likely sooner rather than later if your Renegade's going to have a chance to send this to a potential, I won't say overtime, but it very well could be and very well maybe have to be the potential of doing it in overtime.
Well, it has to be, you know, the snowball effect coming through for Renegades. They couldn't quite secure that last time they had the pistol. I mean, they are going to be able to likely pick up the anti-eco here, so opening kill into Sub Rosa as TSM tried to get some sight lines down C long. For Renegades, the next 3 to 4 rounds is where it's going to be important. They need to secure a lot of wins there. On that first half, it ended up being only 3 and 2 in the first 5, and then after that, 7 in a row for TSM. So it needs to be Renegade securing a long string of rounds as well. Take the operator away from Wardell. Make sure that TSM's economy can't afford it. That would have to be the game plan for Renegades.
Keep them as broke or even more broke than what you were, in layman's terms, from the round previously, the half previously. Renegades making their play now over towards A. TSM have fully stacked C, and the gamble is not going to pay off here. So it just comes down to, can Hayes catch any early information before this spike gets planted? Dark cover will start to come out. That should at least pay some attention over towards this A site. Ultimate Orb also for CP2 will be grabbed as they make their way on. And this should be a free plant. TSM will rotate passively through their spawn for a potential retake.
It's going to be a full 4v5 retake here. On pistols nonetheless. Cutler on a shorty as well. It's not going to feel really comfortable. Most of the angles have been covered. The only player they can isolate early is going to be Retro, who's, I believe, playing in Hell right now. And TSM are going to need to rush him down as fast as possible because the rest of Renegades are way off site. So when things do start to get hairy here, the range advantage is going to be there for Renegades.
And TSM really aren't even giving this a full try. Opportunity for a 1v1 here. Retro with the superior weapon will win it. And there's just not enough time here for this retake for TSM, and they're going to realize that pretty quickly as the last 2 members will just likely back away. Although Cutler's going to try to see if he can find maybe one more player. That's going to just drop the shorty for a sheriff and then back away. It's going to be close, but he'll stay up, and TSM will survive with 2 members, but still a flawless round for Renegades off of their pistol win from the round previously.
Yeah, looking for a free gun on the floor just as the shop door closes. Will make his way out of the door. So the expected anti-eco being 1, but I want everyone to pay attention to the round summaries here because, I mean, at this point, everything is about as normal. We do expect TSM to come back strong for the next round. This is the one where they do possibly win because they have the gun advantage. You can see all the rifles being purchased up there. A couple of light armors is not comfortable, but they'll have to deal with that. It's after this round where the concerns start to come in because if Renegades once again can't accelerate this lead after this 3rd round, that's how TSM take it.
If Renegades do take this round, though, and put themselves on 6, TSM will likely have to save the round after that, and they could be on 7. And how about this? They're going to gamble stack just an offensive hit towards C long. They'll break through the trap wire. 1 more will be down. Retro will deal with it, but Hayes walks away with 2 through the dark cover. He's got more in front. There's number 3 and 4. The ace right around the corner. Can he secure it? Yes, he can. Hayes for 5 and TSM on 10.
Well, I told you TSM were definitely favored to win this round, but not like that. What's going on? 5 kills super quickly. And we saw some really, really nice aces over the course of this tournament, especially on this map as well, by the way. But Hayes is going to come through. 2 kills instantly, follows up with another kill, 2 kills onto the default plant as well, and then the ace straight away. No issues. 13 and 10. Old man Hayes will be happy with that.
A little bit of pep in his step coming into round 16, I imagine. But again, the whole fact of the matter is we talked about the Renegades have to start to find a way to snowball. And that's not going to do well. Sabrosa's going to take off the head of Bergie and connect onto Randy through the wall for about half of his health. Renegades fortunate to find themselves in a 4v4, all things considered, after this opening. But as the spike is pushed forward over towards C long, it's actually going to be TSM pushing through A long, and Drone finds another kill. So this play through Garage has to be successful for Renegades.
And Hayes is here again. Let's see how many kills he can get this time around. One will be coming up soon. The barrel of Retro sticking out a little bit too wide. Can't secure a second. Win some. We'll be able to heal off that one as well. Back onto full HP. The plant comes in a 2v3 for the post plant. They haven't got off site yet. There's no layers available either. They just got to swing. And CP2 dies. Winsom's revealed as well. His position has been compromised. And TSM come through to get their 11.
And now we're starting to see why TSM is 7-0 on this map so far through their run through the open and now closed qualifier. The play from Hayes is something else, but even in the opening here, Sabrosa finding that aggressive peek through the middle of B. He gets not just one, but also half of another. And the aggression from TSM defensively pans out once more as they even find another kill over towards A long on the push through. So 11-5 goes the tally. And Renegades look like they're considering force buying in this next round to try to keep things competitive.
Yeah, well, Randy has the ability to afford a rifle here on low armor. I mean, I don't know what Retro is doing. He's got the Bladestorm. This would be the perfect round to go for a Bladestorm. They are going to just buy down even lower here. Now, look. Renegades, 5-11 here. They lose this one. TSM go to 12, and then we start thinking about the next map already. This is already looking like the repeat of what we saw on Split. However, the other way around. We've played the Uno reverse card. This time TSM is dominating. Somewhat expected maybe. The Bladestorm does get pulled through. And
this is Retro v3. It's a triple stack for TSM through A long. And as they start to push players back, Drone might have to live the rest of the round over here. He doesn't have a lot of exit strategies unless there's a couple of picks from Wardell to allow him to be freed up. The Owl Drone will be dealt with. Curveball still being held. It comes through, but Winsome reads the play beautifully. So Renegades now in a 5v3. Still have the Bladestorm out for Retro as they consider which direction they want to go. The spike is still being held very passively towards their spawn.
And they have time to work with here. 50 seconds remaining. They don't need to overcommit over towards A. They have to assume that TSM have rotated. In reality, though, Sabrosa is near, but he's still hanging around B. The default for TSM might end up being a 1-1-1 now. Wardell's going to look for a little bit of information. After that, should give the info to TSM to hold on to their positioning over towards B and C. And now comes Renegades.
Left.
5 men up C long, last 30 seconds. Hayes will be up for the first defense.
Oh, and you think that might just be enough. There's the tailwind dash coming through. Hayes finds the first. Sabrosa a second. There's number 3. Hayes looking to replicate some of his magic. He's got one more to deal with. And the right click from Hayes will once again clutch things up for TSM. Now on map point, 12-5 up.
Such great information scouting there as well. The reset coming through from Renegades. TSM thinking, where could the 5 come from? Wardell walks up A long, checks it out, nothing in lobby, absolutely clear, no over rotations, and TSM start making their way heavier towards B, heavier towards C. As soon as Renegades make their way up C long, Hayes is there, and once again, 4 kills. Sabrosa, the assist on the 5th one as well to make the all 5 down. And for TSM now, 12-5. They can make this 13-5. Renegades don't have a lot to work with, and Winsome is down early.
The opening spam from Cutler. This is insult meeting injury. Drone's already pushed through over to A lobby. This should be 100% a read that Renegades are going to be hitting over towards A. The only consideration against that is the fact that Retro mid-map finds a kill towards C garage doors. So TSM will not be feeling as confident as they would like to off of the opening play as they try to stack towards the site. And Bergie's going to stick from the shadows. Sabrosa is considering that this is the play. Dark cover's going to come through. This 1v1 could determine the round, and Sabrosa's not going to catch intel.
That timing is perfect. Sabrosa's assuming someone's around the corner. The 1v1 is up. Both players know about it. And Bergie comes out the victor. 4 HP, an upgrade on towards the rifle as well. And keeping things busy. One more still coming through from the smoke. Cutler will clean up Bergie. That's the Thug Waffle taken out now for this map. For TSM, still 3 alive versus 3. Plant comes through for Renegades, and now comes that post plant. Wardell up first.
And Wardell was not ever really scouted over through sewers, so as Randy falls, you have to clutch with the Hunter's Fury here if you're Renegades. Retro takes care of Wardell. This is a very early Hunter's Fury. Not at all what you wanted if you're CP2. If he could connect for some damage, it would be great, but he's not able to do it. So now Retro, can he find another pick? Shoulders going back and forth, and he catches the head of Cutler. It's down to Drone. 1v1. Retro gonna allow it to be defused to half. Hot Hands comes through. He's got a challenge through this. The spam through the box, though, is good enough. 7 HP as he kept his toes hot in the play from Drone, but still catches the last bullet needed, and Renegade's still alive.
Jumping from tower to tower on a hot summer's day at the beach there. Keeping his feet nice and warm. Retro barely makes it out of that one. What, 7 HP at the end? Shots through the wall, 4 kills for him. By the way, Drone had extra utility, but I think time was maybe, or at least the time pressure was getting to him. The Blaze Wall was available if he wants to go for that one. Still one more flash in there. Could have maybe thought the challenge. Tries to go for the stick. Thought that the Hot Hands was going to be enough, but the spike plant just barely in line for Retro. Next round coming through, though, as we start getting into the action. Wardell's going to shut down Winsome again, and following that's going to be CP2.
Man, it's going to be down to Hayes, though, to try to lock things up. This has been a tight 1v1 battle. Hayes will get another triple in this half, and TSM will take the map 13-6. Fireworks were seen here on Haven, and we're going to map 3 here, Avril.
And a 13-6 again. We had a 13-6 on Split. It's going to be the exact same scoreline for Haven. And like I said, it's TSM playing the reverse Uno card here to say that we can do that too. It's a dominant display coming through from TSM overall. You look towards that first half, a 9-3 start. I believe it was the exact mirror as well in some cases. Renegades at a 9-3 start on their attacking half for Split. So yeah, it does end up being both teams coming in very strong on their opening halves, and the opening halves have definitely dictated how the rest of the map goes as well.
Well, you like your 13-6, Avril. How about this? Last time TSM and Renegades played each other, it was a 13-6 for TSM. That was last week during the open qualifying run of TSM in that tournament that went through the Renegades. We're going to go to a brief break. When we come back, though, we'll be breaking things down and once again trying to set up this third and final map between TSM and Renegades right after this.